This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
What's going on, people? Welcome to a brand new episode of Film on Tap, where we've got the tap that never runs out. As always, I am joined by my wonderful co-hosts, Nancy and Andres. How are you guys now that we've already hit 100 episodes?
Yay. Woo! I am still recovering from St. Patrick's Day weekend last week because for everyone that doesn't know, our good buddy David Jandoyan came into town, and here's the thing. It's not necessarily that we drank a lot. It's more of that we just had the most richest, thickest, like bar food that you could have for like a couple of days straight, because it was just like, you know what? Why not? If it's St. Patrick's Day, let's just eat as much as we can. Which, Tom, you were there too.
Yeah, I got to experience that for a day over there in Boston, and man, Jandoyan can eat. It's genuinely impressive.
Yeah,
He
had clam chowder and Guinness together. And I was like, good luck.
Yeah, no, he literally,
stomach.
Okay. Well,
and he was like, do you not know me?
Yeah, let me paint this picture for you. So the day I met up with him, we went to lunch and we like shared a huge pasta dish that was like a spicy pasta with chicken. Then we had fish and chips, fried pickle chips. And then afterwards we went to a bar just to hang out, and I just had a beer, and he literally got clam chowder.
Like the combination alone just
his
sounds
stomach
so
must have been World War III. Like, I can only imagine.
That dude has an ironclad stomach. It's ridiculous. But you know what? When you're like drunk and late and you want to get a soda fries, he's your homie to go with, you know?
Yeah.
But I will say, when I was with him, I did try splitting the G in Guinness for the first time, and I crushed it. I have video proof of this.
Yes.
So
why is that a thing? Like,
I don't know, but I tried it.
You just have to drink and get it exactly.
You're supposed to like drink right to the center of the G, where you split the G in Guinness on the glass. And it's like a tradition that a lot of people like to do. I had never tried it, so guess I had beginner's luck. I don't know.
Yeah, because I've never split the G either, and I tried it the first night, and then it didn't.
You tried it with us, and it wasn't anywhere close.
Was it way above or way below?
Way up.
I think it was. Yeah, it
was way up. It was way up, and here's the thing: is that the next night we all went out again. And I tried splitting the G one last time to redeem myself, and I was like, "All right, I'm going to do exactly the amount of sips that it's going to take to get this." And then literally, I did it based on what was poured the night before, and then it was like it's just this close, but I didn't split the G though.
That's close though.
So you suck. Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I know it's not, but it sounds so dirty. So you're gonna split the G.
Actually, yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, let's not think about it.
Yeah. But Tom, how was it splitting the G with Jandoyan?
No, honestly, that was a very fun experience. Not only that, because there was some sort of like teachers conference in town at the bar we were at. And so literally we got there, and there were like these 4 or 5 middle-aged women who were sitting there, and we just kind of struck up conversation with them. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're here for a conference. A bunch of us are just coming here just to like have fun." We're like, "Oh cool." And then we asked them like, "Do you need us to move over if like you have a bunch of people coming?" They're like, No. And then people started trickling in, and so like we just kind of kept nicely moving to the right and moving to the right. And literally they had so many people, we ended up like in the corner booth. And but luckily they were super nice. They bought us a round of beers, so like it was nice.
Oh man,
sweet group of ladies.
Teachers or educators at conferences, man. We know how to party. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they were well on their way. Well on their way.
It's a good time.
How was your St. Patrick's Day weekend, Nancy?
My weekend? I don't even remember what I did for the weekend. For the day,
Sounds
I just
like a good
went
weekend,
out. For the day, I just went out and got a green beer and listened to some music and stuff. So it was still nice. And we I want to say Zoomed. That's so old. We StreamYard with you guys, and we hung out. So that was nice.
Yeah, we did, and we had some of this like really hard apple cider that David made, and it was funny because at first I was like, yeah, and like at first I was like, okay, well let's pour like this small little glass that we have, and then David's like, no, you need like shots, like I'm like, okay, and then literally I tried just a little bit, I'm like, oh my god, like it's so we still have that in our fridge right now, so
that'll probably last you until the deep 2050s.
Listen, we just got done with you and David's pizza from Tuesday as well.
Fuck that
so
pizza. that weird ass
so
cheese. Oh god! No, literally on our way out, he's just like, "Do you want this pizza?" I was like, "Absolutely not. It's all you."
Andres is like, "No pizza left behind."
Yeah. Hey, at least it didn't go to waste.
Yeah, we had to use it.
But anyways, everybody, it's time to jump into our show today. And we've got some big things to talk about. A couple huge trailers dropped this week. I thought it was hilarious. Nancy was like, I don't know what trailers we're going to cover. I was like, give it time.
Yeah.
At the time, there was nothing,
and then naturally, two of the biggest trailers of the year drop in the same week, back-to-back days. So we're going to be talking about two huge trailers, and then we're also going to be jumping into our spoiler-heavy review of Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. So stay tuned for that. But first, we got to jump into our first huge trailer, the one that premiered first, and that is for Dune Part 3, which hits theaters this December on the same day as Avengers Doomsday for now, which is being dubbed as Doomsday. So we'll see if this stays true or if one of them moves. But anyway, we got our first peek at this concluding trilogy chapter here from Denis Villeneuve with, Timothée Chalamet and the rest of the stacked cast. What do we think about this first trailer? Let's start with you, Andres.
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of the first two Dune movies, and the anticipation for the third one is definitely high up there for me. And I will say, as a fan of the first couple of books, I'm not a fan of all of them, but I did really like the initial Herbert novels. But I will say, having seen this trailer and having seen where they're going to go with certain things and what characters they're going to bring into the fold, there's still certain things that I'm like, I don't necessarily know exactly what's happening right here. And as a reader, that actually really excites me that they're going to take a few detours here and there to tell the best story possible, because even that second book is a little, for lack of a better word, questionable, because certain things do happen in it. Like, they make it very clear that Paul Atreides is not a hero in any way, shape, or form. And I think that's what Denis did very well with the second movie. But yeah, having seen everything of the trailer so far, the scope, the scale, how much darker it's going to be, and how much more they're gonna take from the previous movie in terms of scenes that we have not been privy to, and just how many changes are going to be coming about. I'm truly really excited for this movie. But also, I do have to give a shout out to Denis for apparently there's going to be a big time gap in between 2 and 3, and it's a 17-year time gap. And the thing is that I appreciate the fact that Villeneuve decided to not go the de-aging or the aging CG route and just do it all subtle in camera with makeup. And for the most part, if you look at all those posters that were released as well too, side by side with all the characters that were in the last one, it really does feel like a good amount of time has passed between the two movies, and there's sort of this more weathered quality to everybody. But God, I am so freaking stoked for this movie, and I can't wait for it. This is definitely going to be the movie that I will see first on Doomsday, or as people like to also call it as well too. Have you guys seen the alternate title for Doomsday?
What's that?
It's been going around for a little bit, but it's also called Pewsday as well, because Florence Pugh is in both Doomsday and in Dune.
Of course.
Which is not nearly as catchy, but it's
not
also
quite as
not quite.
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to Dune Part 3. It is still, you know what? We had this discussion, Tom. What's our most anticipated of 2026? I said The Odyssey, but here's the thing. After seeing this trailer, I think Dune and The Odyssey are...
It's been Dune for me for a while.
Yeah.
How about you, Nancy? What do you think of this?
I have to say, there's nothing in particular about this trailer that's making me say, oh my gosh, I really, really have to see this movie. It's going to be amazing. But
all right, so I'm going to leave. I'll be back.
But that being said, it looks like standard Dune goodness. You know what I mean? Like, it looks amazing.
Don't take it for granted.
That's fair. I'm just saying, I'm sure when maybe a little more comes out, I'm gonna get more excited. And I will say it does make me excited to go back and rewatch the first two. I absolutely love the first two. I never thought I would because of like how much lore is in them, and it is a little difficult to follow at times, especially the first watch. But they're so good that I love rewatching these movies. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. I didn't know there was a time jump. Thanks for spoiling that, Andres.
I mean, they made it pretty clear.
I didn't know.
They did.
Did they know? Like, she's pregnant. Like, that's not that many.
Well, I mean,
Anya
like,
Taylor-Joy is like a full-grown adult in the trailer.
Well, yeah, I guess. But we don't know. But in the second one, it makes it seem like it's like we're not there yet, if that makes sense. Like maybe she's not actually a full-grown adult yet, is what I was thinking. But that being said, yes, I'm really excited for this one. I can't imagine that they're gonna fumble the ball on this. Like the first two are so good. I did hear the book gets a little wacky, so yes. I'm curious how they're gonna steer away from that, or pull some elements into it. So yeah, that part of it I'm really curious about. But it looks great so far.
Nice. I love that. So, I mean, honestly, you say like wacky, but I also think like, I feel like Villeneuve has done a great job of grounding like this material. Like if you want to go the wacky route, you have the David Lynch movie, which goes full wacky. And I feel like when it comes to these, I feel like whatever wackiness might be in that third novel, I feel like Villeneuve is going to find a way to ground it and make it feel accessible and not too out there. I mean, this is a story with giant fucking sandworms, and yet it feels like it could actually be tactile and grounded, and it's just amazing. It's just a kudos to his vision. But yeah, man, I mean, when Andres asked me like, what's your most anticipated movie of the year? Sure, The Odyssey is like a safe bet, but for me, like I've been looking forward to a new Dune movie. The fact that we've gotten 3 of these movies in 5 years is incredible, considering the scope, the talent involved, and just the dense material that they're working with. I mean, it's an amazing feat in and of itself. But
yeah, Avatar.
This movie looks phenomenal. I mean, it looks epic in scope like you want it to. I love where the story's headed. I like that there is a time jump. I think that's really interesting, and I can't wait to explore that. The performances already look fantastic. I mean, getting chills just from like Chalamet doing the chant in the background of this trailer. Love that. Linus Sandgren, who's taken over for Greg Fraser cinematography-wise here, I think is doing a phenomenal job. I mean, this is the guy who did, La La Land, First Man, Saltburn, just shot Wuthering Heights. He's crushing it out there, and I feel like if anyone can take the reins, it's him, and it looks beautiful. So I can't wait to see this on the biggest screen possible. I just feel like Villeneuve just has such a confidence and just this like assured quality of his direction that always makes me feel like I'm in safe hands, and I just can't wait to see where the story goes next. It looks freaking awesome. Gave me chills. Well, I must have watched this trailer at least 5 to 6 times. I think I might have watched this trailer more than the Spider-Man trailer. So, I'm amped for this one, but I feel like I could honestly just stay with this trailer and not watch another trailer and be fine, thing. But I'm going to.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's like, I feel like everyone's amped for this regardless, like me included. So like the trailer to me isn't like, oh, now I really have to see it. It's like, okay, that's exactly what I anticipated. Keep doing that. And then I'm going to go see it regardless. So also, I don't know if you noticed, but Andres like literally groaned when you talked about the cinematography.
Really?
Wait, did I groan?
No, in a good way. Like,
oh, like I was like, way. Oh, like,
yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
I thought you weren't on board.
I like the cinematography.
Yeah. I don't know. What's the
even though I do miss Greg Fraser, but I blame freaking that Beatles movie coming out.
He's doing all 4 of them.
Yeah,
that's why he's not doing the Batman part 2 either.
Wait, which movie?
He's doing all 4 of the Beatles biopic movies.
Oh,
yeah.
So he couldn't do the second Batman film, and he couldn't do Dune 3. So it's a real bummer.
It's a real bummer, but it's like, God, overkill. 4 movies. I mean, like, do we really need that? I mean,
is George Harrison that exciting? I was just kidding.
Yeah, but we'll see. But I will say one thing on Dune is that I'm really excited about the fact that this is going to be Brian K. Vaughan's writing debut, and I mean feature film writing debut, because if you know who Brian K. Vaughan is. He's written some of the most iconic out there comics in Saga and, Y the Last Man. And knowing what style of writing he does for those comics in terms of following characters that are very gray, I think he's an inspired choice for Dune Part 3. So yeah, just the announcement that he was writing it gets me really excited for this movie as well.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens with this feature debut here. I hope that he doesn't fuck it up. But speaking of huge movies, another big trailer premiered the day after, and that was our trailer debut for Spider-Man Brand New Day, which hits theaters this July. This is the new Spider-Man film, of course, starring Tom Holland once again as Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man. We have a new director this time around with Daniel Destin Cretton, who did Shang-Chi and was a huge creative voice in Wonder Man, which just hit, which was fantastic, was a huge pleasant surprise. So this is our first big peek at the movie. What do we think about this one? Let's start with you, Nancy. What do we think about this trailer? And were we excited going into it, considering the current state of Marvel?
Well, not so much because of the current state of Marvel, but you know what? I feel like Shang-Chi didn't get enough love as it should have. Yeah, it's really good. And so I'm glad that we're getting that same director with this one. I'm excited that we're getting, now that he's evolving into an actual spider, where the fuck is happening, and we're getting actual webbing and that part of the story I'm really excited for. I also didn't realize, I guess I was thinking for some reason that everyone forgot who Spider-Man was also, and I didn't realize it was just that they forgot who Peter Parker was. So that part of it is really interesting. It's so sad to see everyone forget him, and he's just living his little like homeless life, wandering around the city. So it looks good. I'm curious where they're going to go with the story, but as from what I've seen with this trailer, I'm looking forward to it. And it, again, just like Dune, it makes me look forward to rewatching No Way Home and then leading into this one. So far, so good. We'll see.
Nice. Smooth. How about you, Andres? What did you think of this trailer?
That was a mess up on my end. Sorry, guys.
For everyone listening, looking at the visuals here.
Yeah, but so first off, before anything else, I do have to say, anybody who is working internally and has access to these trailers early and always feels the need to, film what the trailer is and leak it out literally 3 months ahead of time, just don't do it. The world is not asking for your leaks of this really shitty cam footage of Spider-Man Brand New Day. So that was a big problem with this trailer. And in fact, we were supposed to get this trailer so long ago, but apparently it's come out now that so many like trailer houses and asset coordinators, they all literally had to like pull like, extra unpaid hours during the weekends to basically have this trailer ready to go, because Marvel and Sony insisted that the trailer be different than what was leaked a couple of months ago. So guys, just don't do it. Just don't do it going forward. Like, that last trailer would have been fine as it is. However, judging on the trailer that we have now, it does get me really excited for where the story of Peter Parker is going to be going. And me being a huge Spider-Man fan as well, too. Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel character ever. Like, he, to me, is the best of the best. And I love the fact that we're going into a story where what if he has shed the Peter Parker persona and is Spider-Man full time? But, there's that little hint of like, not only is he possibly given up being Peter Parker, but with the mutation that's happening, he's possibly also given up being a human being on top of that as well. So honestly, everything about this really, really gets me excited for whatever direction they're going to be going in. And here's the thing, is that there's been in this trailer itself, like, we got John Bernthal as the Punisher. We have Bruce Banner in there as well, Mark Ruffalo. And it doesn't feel to me at all like they are trying to placate to the audience. It feels very much like these are characters that do belong in Spider-Man's realm. And I do feel that these are characters that would pop up with Peter Parker. And to me, sort of all these cameos right off the bat, it doesn't feel as egregious and it doesn't feel as trying as something like, let's say, Doomsday is right now currently with all those trailers. But
I also say like C-3PO and R2-D2 showing up in Star Wars or like, you know what I mean? Like those feel so out of place.
Yeah. Whereas with this, I kind of feel like these are all street level characters that do earn their place in that world. But I will say with the direction from Daniel Cretton so far, I mean, like just the look of everything on this is so on point. Like everything feels like a love letter to the comics, to the animated series, and also just even to this character in general. And honestly, just seeing some of the web swinging that we've gotten just a little tiny bit, I think we're in for a damn good time in theaters come July. And it sucks that this movie was shot for IMAX and yet it will not play on any IMAX screens because the Odyssey has that locked up for 4 weeks. And that's just a tremendous fuck up on Sony's part. But I mean, if it does get re-released at some point, I will most definitely go see it in IMAX. I mean, hell, I'll definitely go see it when it comes out in theaters in July, but I'm super freaking stoked for this. I love the direction that they're going in. Everything about it gets me excited.
Okay. Wow. So Spider-Man's my favorite superhero. So that's why for me, like I haven't been like until I would say like the conclusion of No Way Home was I really like sold on Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I'll be honest, it's a hot take. It's just, I don't know. I mean, obviously I grew up with Tobey and I have an attachment there. There's a little nostalgia obviously there, but it just, it felt for me like it just never really clicked with me with him and both of those characters of Spider-Man and Peter Parker, where I just felt like he was an amazing Peter Parker. Wasn't really sure about him as Spider-Man. For me, it just wasn't really clicking until No Way Home. And that's where it really sold me, because that emotional component, and I felt like he really settled into the character really well. And now I think like he's operating, like firing on all cylinders, which is great to see. And I feel like this story looks like the most emotionally engaging yet, where the people he cares about most don't even know who he is and have completely forgotten about him because he had to make that huge sacrifice at the end of No Way Home. So watching the aftermath of that looks heartbreaking, and Holland is crushing it there. I mean, you just feel that sadness and that depression of him as Spider-Man. I love how bleak in a way that this trailer feels, but also there's such vibrancy in this trailer as well. The web swinging, the pops of color. Oh, it's just such a breath of fresh air. And Daniel Destin Cretton's, Destin Daniel Cretton. Jesus.
Yes, I've done the same thing too.
Yeah, his direction is like a game changer in comparison to John Watts, who I feel like was just kind of a little bit out of his depth when he was directing those Spider-Man films. It just felt like this was the breath of fresh air we needed, because the action sequences look so much better. Spider-Man taking on the Hand. Yes, freaking please. Yeah. Using webs to like break swords. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Well, that looks freaking sweet. The web swinging looks amazing. There's just more thoughtful, creative shots in this trailer that I feel like make me really excited to see what he's going to do with the material. And just like you said, the nods to like comic book covers and just comic book storylines and, animated series storylines, like the fact that we may or may not be getting like a man spider storyline here.
I'll be willing to bet we get him.
Like that's what it seems like we're headed towards, which is one of my favorite storylines for Spider-Man. It's gnarly, it's exciting, it's scary. And the fact that like Mark Ruffalo is essentially like the Kurt Connors character stand-in here, I think is really cool. And it's a natural way of including him in the story. Having the Punisher in there is great to kind of emphasize the street level feel of this movie, which I think this trailer does a great job establishing that this isn't some like Avengers level thing. This is more street level Spider-Man, and I love that. And let's be honest, that ending shot of Spider-Man taking on the Hand looks eerily familiar to a certain shot in No Way Home, where a certain character or characters were deleted from the footage to make it so that it was a nice surprise come when the movie was there. So I'm gonna bet that Daredevil's in this fucking movie.
Okay.
I mean,
Daredevil versus the Hand is a pretty prominent storyline for the guy. So I would not be surprised if he's in that shot.
It is funny that they did the exact same shot because
it's like the exact same shot.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking when I saw it.
Yep. So I would not be surprised. I mean, Charlie Cox has already been in interviews and they've been asking him and he's, in full on lie mode. So I don't take like, I'm taking that with a grain of salt. But regardless of whether he's in the movie or not, like this is the most excited I've been for a Marvel movie in a very long time. I love the character of Spider-Man, and it finally feels like we're headed into some territory that's really exciting for the character that we haven't seen on the big screen before, which I'm really excited for. So I can't wait for this movie. It looks fantastic, and as a Spider-Man fan, made me very happy, made my nerd heart smile. So I'm very, very excited for this one. Anyway, so now we're going to shift gears to the movie that we're going to be talking about this week. We are going to be talking about Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, the long-awaited sequel to the horror comedy from Radio Silence, once again starring Samara Weaving. She's got another hide-and-seek game to try to survive, this time with her sister, who's played here by Catherine Newton. There's 4 rival families that are vying for this throne now that the Lamases are now dead and gone. So whoever comes out on top will be the leader and will take the throne of we don't know what. And then we have our new hide-and-seek game. So let's talk about this one. There's going to be some spoilers here. So if you haven't seen the movie, you might want to stop watching or listening to this episode, then come on back after you watch it. Or if you just don't give a crap about being spoiled, just continue to watch or listen. We don't care. So let's talk about this movie, guys. So let's talk about our thoughts about the first film and then our general thoughts about the second one before we go into some spoiler territory. Let's start with you, Nancy.
I absolutely love the first one. It's such a unique story, and the way it ends, I mean, sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen it by now, there's already a sequel, but the fact that everyone just explodes at the end is just one of the most hilarious, like, unexpected endings I've ever seen in a movie. And on top of that, the story behind it, the acting, the fight scenes, it's just a really, really good movie. So that being said, I was a little hesitant about the second one, especially since we're starting right at the very end of the first one. I don't know why. I just tend to hate when movies do that in general. You know what it is? It kind of reminds me of Dragon Ball Z when I would watch Dragon Ball Z and they'd fight this big like monster and defeat it. And then like 2 seconds later, like an episode later, they're back to like, oh, sorry, here's another one. So it doesn't give you any breathing room. So I was interested to see how they were going to do that. That being said, I think they explained it really well of why it leaves off right after the first one and why there's this rush to kill her again, essentially. And that whole backstory, I think they did a really good job of that. The acting is really good in this. I love freaking, is it Catherine Newton?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's Lisa Frankenstein. That's your girl.
Exactly. I love her. And she was amazing in Abigail too.
Yeah,
Abigail as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I love that we're getting more of her in this, and she was fantastic. I really like this one. I will say it doesn't quite meet up to my expectations, or I don't like it as much as the first one. With that being said, I feel in general it would be hard to make a sequel to that movie that was better because the first one is such a unique story. So it's like, how do you top that expectation, right? We're already kind of expecting people to explode and, there's Satan worshipers involved. And so those surprise elements are kind of taken away. But I think the fight scenes were way better in this one. There's one hilarious fight scene, which we can get into detail later. That was just my favorite. So overall, I really, really like this. The ending was great. I was curious how they were going to end it. And I think that was on par with the theme of the movie. And I really, really liked it. So yeah, it was a fun time.
Okay. Andre?
Yeah, I really, really love the original Ready or Not film. That movie was it's the definition of like one of those like surprise hits movies where you're like, I don't know how this movie could turn out. It could turn out like, some other films that have come out previously that sort of share the same mentality, that have all gone direct to DVD. And then you watch that, and the two biggest things going into it is Samara Weaving was fantastic in that first movie and delivered just such an iconic look to a character in Grace. And then, also it announced radio silence as well too. And like after seeing Ready or Not 1, I knew immediately that I wanted to see anything these guys were going to be involved in, because they delivered something that had so much lore, but yet it moved so fast and it kept the audience on the edge. And also it kept them just informed about everything that's going on. So when they announced that there was going to be a sequel to that movie, I was kind of like, do we really need a sequel? But, been surprised before. And having said that, and having seen the movie last night to a packed audience, by the way, I will definitely say I was pleasantly surprised with this film as well. I mean, granted, it does follow a few tenets that were set up in the last movie in terms of like, it feels very much a little bit like a rinse and repeat for the first half of the movie. And then when you start getting into that second half, that's where I think they started really having fun with your expectations and what could happen in this universe, and all the elements in terms of Samara Weaving and her chemistry with Catherine Newton as well too. And a slight little retcon, I will say, because having watched the original before seeing this new one, she makes it very clear that it's kind of like she doesn't have like a sister or any type of family whatsoever. And then they make it clear in the sequel, it's like, well, we had a big falling out. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it to you. But I will say, the interactions between Weaving and Newton, I thought were really great as well. But I also, more than anything, I really liked the banter between the four families. Like that, I thought was a nice little twist in terms of like, changing it up from the family in the last film where, you clearly can tell that they all kind of hate and love each other at the same time. Whereas in this film, we have four different completely family dynamics, all in completely different ways. But they all kind of have like hey, well, you know what? Good luck to you, but I'm getting that type of thing. I'm killing off Grace before you do. But I love the fact that they expanded the scope of the story, and they also made it so much more complicated than I was expecting it was going to be. But I was still able to keep through with it. Some of the loopholes I thought were really great, and some of the surprises, I will say, especially in that third act, definitely make this a recommend for me. So I really, really dug this one.
Yeah, I, like you guys, love the original. It's one of my go-to spooky season movies. It's always in my rotation. Watch it every single year. It's so much fun, has crazy good replay value. It was just such a refreshing breath of fresh air in the horror genre when it came out. And I personally always wanted a sequel. I felt like there was definitely potential there where they could explore one if they wanted to. So when they announced it, I think I immediately texted Andres. I'm like, it's happening. It's like, they're doing it. They're shooting it. I was so excited. I mean, I was just chomping at the bit to see footage from this one. So naturally, I was very excited to check out the full movie. And I will say, as much as I love the original film, even though I do have minor issues with this one, I still think this one is super fun. I think it's a great time at the movies, really good crowd pleaser. I think they double down on what made the original so much fun. And I think they add enough new wrinkles to the story, to the lore, to the mythology here that I think it makes it a worthwhile sequel that isn't just hitting all of the same beats and just doing the same thing again and again and again. That's what my fear was. And I especially feel like the third act basically says, yeah, those expectations you had, throw them in the fucking trash because we're going to do something crazy. And I loved where the third act went. I literally had no idea where it was going to go or how it was going to end. And I was on the edge of my seat, and I loved how it concluded. I thought it was an amazing third act. But I just feel like everything in this way, I just felt like Radio Silence, they're more confident behind the camera. The set pieces and action sequences are more fun, dynamic. They seem definitely better staged in this one, and they just seem more creative. The production design looks even bigger in scope. It just feels like they had a bigger playground to work with and better tools at their disposal, and it really shows here, and they're not wasted. The cast is fantastic. I think Samara Weaving, again, is just incredible. her scream is one of the most unique, singular, ear-piercing screams I have ever heard in my life. And I feel like it's now in my mind iconic because I can't unhear it. And I feel like her dynamic with Catherine Newton is fantastic. I love them as sisters. And I feel like they justified it enough to where, okay, she exists. And, you know, it makes sense maybe why she wouldn't be mentioned in the first film, because like at that point, maybe she felt like she didn't have a sister anymore because they weren't in contact. So I felt like they not only justified that enough for me, but they really made her feel like this welcome addition to the world where you really felt that dynamic, and they explored their history enough where it was really well developed. And I liked seeing them interact and kind of mend their relationship as the movie went on. I thought that was fantastic. And I also liked the bizarro mirror version of their relationship with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Sean Hattasey's characters, who are basically like the antithesis of their relationship, which I loved watching them play out their dynamic and seeing what their history is like. Just the whole cast here is phenomenal. Elijah Wood, great to see him in a nice, meaty, fun role. And Andres, I'm shocked you haven't mentioned this. This is a mini reunion of The Faculty with Sean Hattasey and Elijah Wood, dude. I was just seeing them on screen together, like brought me such glee. I was like, look at you guys. Look at how far we've come. This is amazing.
Casey and oh my God, Casey and Stan back together, right?
Dude, it just made me so happy seeing them. And honestly, I'm so happy Sean Hattasey finally was given a meaty role, because I think the guy is such an underrated actor. He's amazing on The Pit. Not sure if anyone here watches The Pit.
Yep, I'm all over The Pit.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten his flowers for years, but I think he's great in that show. I think he's fantastic here, especially in the third act where he has to deal with some dark material. But I thought he crushed it. And just overall, I just had a really good time with this one. Like I said, we'll jump into some minor issues we might have, but on the whole, I had a lot of fun with this sequel. And yeah, it's being added to the spooky season rotation. Now I can do a double feature, baby. Let's go.
Also, if you haven't seen Elijah Wood in Yellow Jackets, he's really, really good. And he has the same kind of like creepy still vibe in that. And so when I saw him in this, I was like, oh yeah, let's put Elijah Wood in more like horror stuff, please. He does a really good job of it.
He's great.
He's great as a villain. I mean, I'm pretty much there was a Batman Arkham VR game that was released, and Elijah Wood plays Jonathan Crane, aka the Scarecrow, and he is freaking terrifying in that role. Like, and still in the same stillness where he's just like, yep, nothing can bother me right now. Like, you know what I mean? But just loving the fact that he doesn't really have a name in this movie apart from the lawyer.
True, yeah.
Like that just sort of makes me go, okay, what other supernatural computations does this imply, if that makes sense?
Yeah. No, I just love how he's just like this neutral third party who's just like watching everything with like glee and delight. You know, I don't know, I love it.
But
even
still like worship Satan at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm just a part of it.
Like there's just so many great moments with him, and you could tell he's having an absolute blast. It was just, you can tell everyone here is having a great time. It's just, that's the thing I love about Radio Silence movies, because in my mind, they really haven't missed yet. I've enjoyed all of their movies. I just feel like they do such a great job of balancing humor and thrills. And like they make these movies that like they don't take themselves too seriously, but they still have these weighty moments that aren't like shortchanged by humor, which is like a huge problem I have with Marvel for the most part. They'll put too much humor in these, you know, dramatic scenes where it kind of just undercuts those dramatic moments. And here I just feel like they do a great job balancing that. And that's what I really love about them as directors, and why I always look forward to their movies. It's good stuff. But like, what are some scenes that really stood out to you guys?
I mean, like I said before, that one fight scene where they both have pepper spray in their eyes.
So fucking funny.
So funny. You know, they're trying to kill each other. They both end up getting pepper sprayed. They think they're fighting each other, but it cuts to them with no music, just air swinging at each other and missing. And it was just so funny. It was so smart to do. And like you're saying, it's so funny, but then it does lead into them actually fighting, and the music changes. And so I think they do it in such a smart way where it's not going too long, and we do get to the meat of the story of like, okay, they're still actually trying to kill each other.
Mm-hmm. And they also do a really great job of grounding the situation of the matter in terms of cutting back between Titus and Faith's fight as well too, which is ultra brutal, and it does get a little uncomfortable. But then when you cut back to that, I thought that was a great way to sort of balance out the tone, if that makes sense. Because if you stay with one too long, I think if you stayed with Titus and Fate's fight, I think that one gets a little too realistic. And then if you stay too long with Grace and whatever her name, I forget what her name was. But like you stay with them for too long, it kind of gets a little.
Sure.
Yeah,
we'll give it to you.
But I do love her backstory in this, where she is actually Alex from the last film's ex-fiance.
Yeah.
And she has this vendetta of like, you stole him from me. And I love that Grace sort of has that Thanos, like, I don't even know you.
You're not even on my radar, bitch.
That reminds me of like Crazy Stupid Love, where he's like, I don't even know you.
Oh man. But also I just thought it was a really great way to sort of start off the scene with her coming in with a wedding dress with a fucking bazooka, and then it's like, oh shit! Like for a second, I was like, oh my god, they're gonna kill Catherine Newton off right away, and then all of a sudden she does the Pauly Shore in the army thing where it's turned the wrong way, and I'm like, funny. Oh my god.
That was so good. No, I really did think they may kill Samara Weaving off for a second. And I was like, oh, maybe like her sister's gonna have to fight on her own. But and that tells you how well this is done, that we think that that's even an option. Whereas in most movies, I may be like, oh, there's no way, So I think that was such a funny scene.
And also I love how not self-realized, but self-aware most of the characters are of the situation, in terms of like when they start following the rules and they know there's certain things that you can't do as the family members. You can't kill each other off because that counts as a disqualification in Mr. LaBelle's eyes, which we all know exactly what that means. And then the second that one of them even gets a hint of the other breaking the rules, you sort of have like this moment where they're all like trying to get away very slowly, and then all of a sudden like, why are you guys acting all
yeah, like, I love that moment where Elijah Wood's character just like slowly ducks behind his little book.
He like takes the book with him.
Yeah.
And I like they did a good job of setting that up, of like, no one can break the rules. This is what happens in the beginning of the movie, where you have the guy who goes rogue and tries to kill her early and then ends up exploding. He's like, everyone's going to follow the rules or you're going to explode. Get it together.
Yeah. And also I do love that they have the small moment with, one of the family members texting. They're about to text the location of them, and then literally Elijah Wood just pops up, like, "Are you sure you really want to do that?" And then right before he said, you're like, "Oh my god, are we about to see someone else blow up?"
Yeah, I thought when it cut to the wedding, I thought it was going to be like someone from that guy's family, and like the groom was going to explode right as they were going to say their vows or something.
That's what I thought. I was waiting for it.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that would have been so funny.
But see, the fact that they're already setting those expectations, you're just like, oh shit, is like with the bride or the groom going to explode right now?
Or is it the priest that's going to blow up, or someone in the audience? But I just love the fact that that's all undercut by just Titus and Ursula coming in just going, all right, guys, there is a gas leak here. And she's trying so hard to be nice. And then Titus is like, they're not listening. Get the fuck out of here right now. And I'm like, oh my God. And that was just such a great way to introduce both characters as well, that they do have to also kill famous director as well, David Cronenberg, plays their father. I thought that was a really great way of introducing all their characters. And yeah, they just have a fun little dynamic all the way through. And when it gets to the end, when you get to a certain point, you do start to feel a little like more unhinged on Titus's end, when you start seeing exactly what their relationship is like and exactly the lengths that he's willing to go to, especially with his sister. I was like, okay, this is definitely a lot different than the Grace and Faith dynamic for sure. But yeah.
Yeah, I definitely felt like that was like a very interesting exploration of their relationship. I thought Sarah Michelle Gellar's character was also interesting too, especially when Grace finds the loophole where she can marry Titus and instead of like, getting killed by him, which I thought that just led to an amazing third act where I was like, genuinely, no idea where this is headed. Like I was shocked that the wedding even happened. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like that whole like ceremony sequence was so much fun and so interesting. And the capping off of like where they get married, she fucking immediately stabs him and is like, yeah, well, thank you for letting me know I can, kill a family member.
And it doesn't count. Yeah. Dude,
it's not against the rules.
Also, like stabbing him she didn't just stab him with a pen. She stabbed him in the neck and then talked to him and then stabbed him 30 more times probably with that pen. It was so brutal and earned. You could tell she was just like, screw everyone. I'm winning.
Love it.
Yeah. And I think that is definitely a step up from the first one in terms of the fight scenes. Like the fight scenes were so good in this. And that to me was like the cherry on the top because it was so simple but so brutal at the same time.
Yeah. And also in terms of everything that's going on as well, too, especially with Elijah Wood's character, like when there seems to be a rule change in these type of movies, it always just kind of feels very forced. But I love the fact that anytime something has popped up, he immediately cuts to Elijah and then he's just like, this has never happened before. So yeah, that technically works. He almost isn't upset by all the loopholes she finds in all the contracts. He's like, never happened before. I'm excited to see.
I love
where
how
this
he was
is
just
going.
like, yeah, you're free to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell like he's impressed with them and like he kind of like wanted them to like succeed. Like what, especially at the end, he was like, all right.
Yeah. Especially
also, I love how like
no one has really given up this power at all either.
Yeah. Which like if you think about it, I love how like was it LaBelle is his name? LaBelle, but
Mr. LaBelle.
Yeah, I love that it's like this ghost guy who worships Satan is such a rule follower and such like he's loved games so much that he's like everyone has to follow the rules and if you don't you explode. And it's just funny that it's like to a T you have to follow the rules and if you learn a loophole then yeah you're free, go for it.
That's why I love like at the end of both of these movies like his little spirit appears and he's like he's just like yeah man, it's like touché. No, I love that. It's so
also
great.
One funny thing at the ending scene where she's like everyone get on your knees, the goat even gets on his knees. It's so cute. He's like, oh, okay, shit.
I love that. I also love the fact that they just ended up walking out with the goat. I was like, baller move.
Yeah.
Walking out with the goat in sort of a mirror in terms of what the last film ended off as, whereas like, she finally gets the cigarette and Catherine Newton, she looks iconic with the sword in itself. So it's like, yeah, keep the sword.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But I will say probably one of my favorite scenes is the first kill of the family member where they shove him into the hot wash.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah. Oh God. It just the amount of time that spent on like, he is screaming his head off of that thing. They're kind of like, should we like, just like turn it off now? It's like, you kind of want to make sure he's dead. And then when he comes out, it's even worse than what you think it is. It's so over the top.
Only thing I had an issue with that scene is her line. I just thought it was so stupid. Which is like, it's bath time. It's like, all right, sure.
All right, Schwarzenegger.
It's bath time.
Weird. It just like stood out so much from the rest of the like dialogue. I was like, all right, that was a weird one to throw in there, but sure.
I also thought it was hilarious where Nestor Carbonell like gets the sniper and he just sucks.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. I was like, the thing's right on her. How are you missing?
Just couldn't hit anyone for fucking shit. Thought that was great.
Couldn't hit anyone, and because of the fact that we knew the rules that the family members couldn't kill each other even by accident, and the second that he blows up the gas can and then he sees the one person, he's like, "Oh my God, did I kill that person?" Oh, he's fine. All right, because you can almost see the anticipation of like everyone going like, "Is someone about to blow up?" Which I mean, I did love the fact that he did have 3 members. He did have 2 other members of the family there as well. His daughter and his youngest son. That when the daughter is taken out of the picture, the son comes in with like dual Uzis.
He was ready. He was like, "Fuck yeah,
no,
it's my turn."
I love the guy who signs over like
to his wife,
his whole net worth to his wife. The wife takes off, and then Elijah Wood just like, yeah, she owns everything now. You own nothing.
Wait, does that mean technically she like exploded too because she signed off and like? Because that's what I was confused. I thought if they decided not to hunt, then there was like a punishment of getting exploded or something.
Well, the thing is, at least in the rules as it's described, is that, you know, there's nothing against running away. There's just the fact that she is not participating. She is not actively helping look for Grace. Whereas I do think at the very end, I do think his wife also did blow up somewhere, which if they were going to do a 3rd movie, I think that's where they would pick up with that.
Yeah. I mean, I hope not. That'd be cool if she just ran away with all his money. It was like, screw you, dude. Again, real quick. He's like, nope, I'm not going to do it. That you are.
I'd say like that whole conversation, that leads me to one of my minor issues with the movie is that I feel like they're throwing way too many new rules and loopholes and clauses at you where I feel like it just kind of becomes too much and it becomes like superfluous after a while where it just like, it kind of feels like the movie is writing itself out of corners that it's backing itself into a lot of the times where it's like, oh, we've reached this impossible point. How do we get out of it? Well, there's this loophole or there's this clause that we can do this or that, where it's just kind of like, okay, well, it just maybe 1 or 2 times is fine, but like doing it consistently was a little bit annoying and a little bit repetitive. And after a while, just like it was kind of hard to keep track of all the rules they're throwing at you. You're just like, wait, can they do this? And wouldn't that happen if they, I don't know. You know, like it was just kind of like too much.
And I think if it was like that in the first one, like, right, because you kind of just like, when movies do that to begin with, after a while you're like, okay, whatever, fuck it. Like,
I feel like it was more streamlined in the first one where it was simple.
Exactly, yeah. It's like
the first one was following a pattern. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
I'm not finished.
Jesus.
I had stuff to say. No, essentially, yes. It was more streamlined in the first one. And I feel like if you're going to do that in the first one, it's hard to stray away from that in the second one because it's, you know, we know all these rules and we know that they have to follow the rules strictly. So once you start getting into like, okay, this is weird, then it pulls away from that. I mean, it's weird to say, pulls away from that realistic portion of it, I guess.
Yeah. And I also feel like not only that, but there were also times where I had to suspend a little bit of disbelief because like there were moments where like Grace and Faith were literally just like sitting at the bar or they're just sitting down somewhere. They're being actively hunted. And like it just felt like someone would have been barging in seconds and would they have like a time to have like a whole 5-10 minute conversation. I was like, okay. Or even like when they're like out in the field and they're like out in the wide open and no one can like track them down. Like it just, I don't know. It's just like there were moments where I was like, it feels like I have to suspend my disbelief here to think that they wouldn't be like completely just being like attacked right now just for the sake of this conversation. Like I think I would have rather them hit a little bit because she returned to the same room twice.
Yeah.
I was like, come
that
on.
part, yes, that part, yes. But I think because of that, like that is a hotel, right? Essentially,
it's a resort.
Hotel resort.
Yeah, I mean that place was huge, so I could see at the beginning when they know they're on the golf course. But then they go into the woods, like, yeah, it probably would be a little bit hard to track them down. But yeah, I think returning to the same room most likely would have people looking in that area already.
But I do like how they justify that, like, both of them had chances to just leave. And then, like, there's like, my sister.
My sister. I can't do it.
No, I love that. But honestly, really the only other issue I had is that all those, like, you know, supporting characters from the different families, they just kind of felt like the same characters from the first film in different clothes to me. Like it just felt like it was a lot of the similar personalities, like the drunk, the angry one, the one who really like has no business being there, has no skills whatsoever. And like, you know, like the bazooka thing, like, yeah, it's funny and everything, but it just feels like I'm watching the same kind of personalities, just, you know, with different characters now. So it did feel a little bit repetitive in that way. And I felt like, at least in the first movie, I felt like they fleshed out a little bit more of them in comparison to this one, where they kind of just felt like more two-dimensional. So like that was a little bit of like a minor gripe for me.
I don't think I felt that as much. Only because I don't know. There's only so many personalities and stereotypes you can fit into so many people, especially because it's a bigger cast. You know, I think you are going to get a little bit of that repetitiveness. Had they stayed on them a little bit longer, especially the ones that were not actively in the hunt at first, maybe it would have been a little bit more fleshed out. But yeah, I didn't feel it as much.
Yeah, I kind of feel that a lot of the personality types, I mean, they definitely were mirrors of the first film, but I do kind of feel that they did give certain ones a little more of a differentiation between, you know, certain characters from the first, because I do like the fact that there were certain characters that were actively not wanting to be in the fight or in the hunt. And then there were actively other characters that were just like very just nonchalant about it. And they were just like, well, I'm going to have my wife do it instead of me or my brother. You know what I mean? So I do like the fact that everyone has certain stakes going into this and has certain wants for wanting to get that high seat, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's a minor nitpick at best for me.
Yeah, like I said, minor issue, but I was just like, I feel like I've seen these people before. And I also felt like in the first film, it's like, because it was a smaller set of supporting characters, like they could, you know, spend more time with each of them and kind of like give them their own distinct background and personality. Like, you know, I really loved Adam Brody's character in the first film as Alex's brother, who was kind of like in this moral gray area where like, he wanted to be loyal to his family, but also like he didn't want to kill this girl because he's sick of it. He's sick of doing it, which is why he's kind of, you know, gone deep into the booze pool, because like he doesn't want to deal with the fact that he's part of a really shitty family and that like he's become a crappy person because he had to do all these terrible things. Or like the, you know, money digging wife that like just wants to participate because she doesn't want to lose all that money. Or that one guy who's looking up how to use a crossbow.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Hi, I'm Dave and I'm Earl. Here's how we can take care of our crossbows. He's doing it while he's on the toilet.
But
too.
I love the character. I forget. I think it might have been one of the wives who was like addicted to cocaine and was just trying so hard to be good, but she kept fucking up and like killing the maids.
Yeah.
Oh, she was my favorite.
And I will say one other thing too. My other tiny little nitpick with this movie. I think filmmakers in general do not know how much of a gem Kevin Durant is when you add them to your movie.
Yeah, I wish he was around more.
Yeah, honestly, I could have used a lot more of him. I would have loved to have seen someone else get killed, because Kevin Durant really adds so much personality to the role. And like he automatically when he was like walking around and going Grace, like he was channeling his inner Planet of the Apes. I forget what his character's name is. Proximus. Yeah, Proximus from Planet of the Apes. He was channeling that, and I was just like, oh, I could have seen more of this guy. And the second he popped in early, and the second he knew that he was breaking the rules, I was like, oh, he's gonna die.
He's gonna die.
He's gonna perish.
Yeah. I think one thing I had issue with, and like, look, I know it's a movie. I get that not everything's gonna be realistic, but you have Samara Weaving, Grace, who just got out of the hospital. She's all fucked up. She gets shrapnel in her arm. Then she gets a freaking, I don't know, it looked like a railroad spike or almost something, shoved all the way through. And then it cuts to the wedding. She's perfectly fine. Like, she's walking fine. Like, this girl would have passed out or something from loss of blood. Like, she got so messed up. And Faith as well. Like, she got beat to the inch of her life. And it cuts to the, and she just has a little, like, boop, just a little cut here. Nothing else. She's fine.
Rock solid makeup artist.
So, I just think, I don't know, like, have Samara Weaving, like, pass out, or have them cut to, like, they gotta, like, fix that wound somehow. Like, there's no way she would have been able to, like, stand even after all of that. So, again, I know it's a movie, but, like, add in something for that.
All right. I mean, I get it, but the amount of movies that we've seen where, like, characters get super hurt yet they still are able to like do certain things, like again, like suspension of disbelief with a lot of these kinds of movies, but I definitely get that one. But you know, overall though, you know, let's try to like see what our final ratings of this movie would be. I think on the whole, for me at least, I would give this one 4 out of 5 pints. I still had a really good time with it, really enjoyed it, super fun, great performances, great atmosphere and action sequences. And I feel like it really retained that like irreverent bite of the first film while adding some new wrinkles that make it fresh enough where it may not have that like lightning in a bottle feel of the first film. I still think it's a worthy follow-up. I still think it's tons of fun for fans. And it makes me think that if they did eventually make a third movie, I think the potential's there and I would watch it. But if it's just these 2 movies, more than happy with them. And I think that they're both really solid horror comedies. So that's me.
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with that as well. I would also myself give it a 4 out of 5 pints.
Hey.
It's not a perfect movie, but it's a damn fun one. And I had so much fun getting back into this universe, and Radio Silence's directing, I think, is on point with this. Makes me really hopeful about the Mummy movie that they're going to be directing as well too. So honestly, it was a big surprise to me, and I really enjoyed where the movie went to in the third act. And it's one of those that it's not necessarily a sequel that we demanded, but it's a sequel that I'm super glad we have in theaters right now. And to also compare it to another movie that came out as well. I mean, there's no contest between this and Scream 7 in terms of what should be getting your eyes in terms of horror currently right now, because this is a gem and Scream 7 is a piece of garbage. And I
bring Radio Silence back.
No, I think by this point, Radio Silence is
they're
done.
probably over it. Yeah, they're probably over it. Yeah.
Yeah, the damage has been done to the franchise. I don't think
they get to do the Mummy, so I'm happy, dude.
With Scream, like with the Mummy, they're going to be fine, I think.
Oh yeah, they're perfect for that.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Nancy?
Also, side note, Tom, have you ever seen The Amanda Show? I don't know if you're too young for that. Okay. When you said that's me, that's exactly what it reminded me of.
That's me.
Yeah, no, I love The Amanda Show.
What nostalgia. Anyways, so yeah, I think this is a great sequel. Like Audrey was saying, it's not one that I really wanted, and I was pleasantly surprised. It's fun. I think it's going to be awesome to watch back to back during, Halloween time. So I'm going to give this 4 out of 5.
Hey, look at that. Triple threat. You love to see it. The 4-star hat trick that you've heard it here, folks. 4 out of 5 pints for Ready or Not 2. Here I come. But let us know in the comments what you thought of this horror sequel if you checked it out. And definitely let us know what you thought of the trailers for Dune Part 3 and Spider-Man Brand New Day. Let us know in the comments. And before we head on out, where can the fine people find you guys on the interwebs? Andres?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter as Galagos. You can also find me on twitch.tv as Galagos209. You can also find me on Letterboxd as well as Galagos. And you can find me editing for Cinemojis. And we are working on a very special episode with somebody, not naming names, somebody who has appeared and is going to appear very soon. So there you go. Not cryptic at all. I'm trying so hard.
Someone who has appeared and will appear, according to Andres. You can find me at PL_Band-Aid on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me on Letterboxd. I'm actually looking it up right now because I never know what my name is on there.
Have it on the screen.
It's NER86PL. Don't typically write reviews necessarily, but I do rate the movies that I watch, so you can see what I'm watching over on there. And then, of course, every once in a while, helping over on Cinemojis and in the comments here.
There you go. And you guys can find me on YouTube and Instagram at Tom Chattelbash. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Chattelbash. Yeah. I don't even know what my handles are anymore. And you can find me on Letterboxd at T Chattelbash. Find me on TikTok at Chattelbash Reviews. That was the one that was Chattelbash Reviews. Got it. All right, we got there. But yeah, definitely check all of us out on the interwebs. Thank you guys for tuning in to a brand new episode of Film on Tap. We hope you enjoyed it, whether you listened to it or you watched it. We appreciate it regardless, and hope you tune in for our next episode of Film on Tap, where we've got the tap that never runs out. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Hell.
No, don't say that.